evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this GOG stream for Mount and Blade. My name is Totalbiscuit. If you don't already know who I am, I'm terrible at video games, and I get by entirely on the strength of my accent. It's really that simple. Why on earth are we streaming Mount and Blade, specifically the original Mount and Blade? Well, we are streaming the original Mount and Blade simply because it is currently free over on GOG.com, and free is a hard price to argue with. It's going to be free until the middle of Friday. So if you have yet to pick up your copy of Mount and Blade, I would certainly suggest that you do so. We're going to be playing the vanilla version. I have modded it once to slightly improve some of the graphics assets. But outside of that, it's just going to be the straight-up vanilla version. There are many versions of Mount and Blade. The best one arguably being Mount and Blade Warband, as many people would say. There's also Mount and Blade Fire and Sword, which is pretty good if you're looking for a more sort of Napoleonic setting, more firearms and things like that. But if you're looking for the traditional medieval combat simulator, which is what Mount and Blade most assuredly is, then Warband is probably your best option. But it's nice to have Mount and Blade for free because it gives you a nice taste of what Mount and Blade is really all about, which is roaming around a medieval landscape and trying not to get horribly murdered as you slowly build up an army and a force, take over castles, build reputation, and so on and so forth, and then probably have your horse nicked by bandits, such is the way that it, for the most part, works. There we go. Do let me know, of course, in the chat whether or not the levels on the audio are messed up or anything along those lines. I could certainly correct those before we begin. And we will be hosting this both on the GOG.com channel as well as the TotalBiscuit channel. If you're a subscriber, you can use the TotalBiscuit chat, which is a little less spammy than the regular stuff. Just a wee bit less spammy. That's the subscriber chat there. Alternatively, you can use the chat over at GOG.com if you are not a subscriber. Alright, let us begin, shall we? I played a decent amount of Mount and Blade, probably about 20-30 hours of the original and then a bit more Warband. I played a bit of Fire and Sword, but I don't know, I just wasn't so keen on Fire and Sword, if I'm going to be entirely frank. The guns didn't really gel with me, honestly. I prefer the lance combat, I prefer the big axe, riding around on horseback kind of combat. So we'll certainly see what's going on with that. If you'll just give me one moment, just one moment, and then we can actually begin. So apparently I'm now TotalBicuit, which is interesting. That's the medieval spelling, ye olde English, if you were not already aware. And just a reminder that Mount and Blade is available for free until Friday on GOG.com. Just register for it, you get a free copy. Nice and easy. And like I said, it's a really good demo for Warband, which is the better version, as far as I'm concerned. It's the version that came out after the original Mount and Blade. It has some improvements graphically in terms of gameplay as well, a lot of new content. And most of the mods are designed around Warband these days as well. So if you're looking to get into the fairly extensive modding scene, then that's what you should be doing. Alright, let's jump into the game, shall we? I'll pick male or female, pick female. I do like playing the female character because you get some interesting chat interactions if you pick that. Outside of that, they're absolutely identical in terms of stats. So when you're building a character, you are going to pick for a number of different origin stories and characteristics. I'm just going to go straight up with veteran warrior here. And then say, right, were you a page at a nobleman's court, a shop assistant? This is going to affect your overall skills. So you're going to find out exactly what's going on. I'll go with stepchild. I believe that gives you a little bit of riding skill since you were a nomad. I became a smith. There we go. And my reason for adventuring is personal revenge. There we go. Alright. So you've got two choices. You basically got Iron Man mode, no quitting without saving, or allow me to quit without saving. It's a bit brutal. There we go. Alright, so I am now TotalBicuit. As I said, that is historically accurate. And we can look at our giant skill tree right here. So a lot of these attributes and skills were affected by what I picked there. So you need to kind of figure out what exactly you're going to be going for before you start. A lot of the options are going to completely change the skill sets that you have available to you. So I start with 2 points in Power Strike, bit of point in Iron Flesh, which is always nice, gives me a little bit extra health. Power Throw as well. I don't have any points in Power Draw, so my archery is not incredible. You can see there's the proficiencies over to the side here. That's going to affect just how much damage you do, how quickly you can aim, and so on and so forth. And you need certain stats to use certain weapons as well. So I've got high strength, high agility. My intelligence and charisma, just as it is in real life, is low. And stats-wise, 2 points in leadership, 1 point in trade. That's always good. And get always like a couple of points in inventory management. You want to be able to carry more stuff. Apparently you need intelligence to figure out how to carry more stuff, which is a bit weird. You'd think that would be more of a strength attribute, but I suppose that is logistics after all. Alright, one-handed weapons will probably... Let's see. I don't know. I do like my Lancers, I've got to say. Lancers are really, really good in this game. But it's always nice to have options for one- and two-handers as well. So I'm going to put another point in strength there, I think. Might want to buff up my charisma a little bit. There we go. Let's go 12 points in strength. Point another one in iron flesh so I don't die quite as easily. Third point power strike, maybe. What else would I like? Well, I would have a couple of points in weapons master. Point in shields is always nice. Points in riding always nice as well. They enable you to ride better horses. We already have a point in training. Always nice to put a point in looting. I'm not an expert at Mount and Blade. There are probably people who have played this for thousands of hours which will tell me that my setup is completely and totally wrong. And frankly, I just don't blame them for saying that at all. First aid. Always nice. Survivability is always good. Okay, so we can put some points in one-handers and some points in polearms there. Not too concerned about ranged weapons. I've got to be honest, I don't really like ranged weapons all that much in Mount and Blade. Maybe it's just because I'm awful. Here's one thing I like about Mount and Blade. It is literally impossible to make an attractive character, male or female. It is entirely realistic, so we can randomize it and come up with all sorts of things. There we go. Mount and Blade is not exactly the best looking game of all time. I will be entirely frank with you on that one. Now, if you want to generate a character, you're probably going to be getting either Brienne of Tarth or you're going to be getting the Imp. It's really that simple one way or the other. There is no middle ground, trust me on this. There we go. We'll go with that. That works. That will work. Alright, let us rock and roll. Let's see what it started us off with. So, started me with a balanced sword. That's not too shabby. Hunting crossbow. Not much of a crossbow person, I gotta say. What kind of annoys me is that it didn't start me with a polearm, but we can probably sell and get a basic lance or something along those lines. Saddle horse. Decent enough armor, but we will certainly need some extra. Also, started us off with some smoked fish, which you kind of need, because once you start building a party and an army, you're going to need to feed the bastards. And then you will also be able to grab some tools. Now, if you played Warband, it looks very, very similar to this. Very similar, but Warband does have more functionality. So you start off on this overworld map, and that character right there represents you. So every time that you move, everything else moves. It's sort of in real time, and you want to avoid being caught out by things like bandits and large armies and so on and so forth. So we should go and find some, but firstly we're going to go visit some villages, because perhaps these villages might have some recruits. We recruit some peasants, so we can then sort of train them up and level them up into an army. There we go. 5 recruits offered to join my army. That's always lovely. And we could maybe have words with the village leader, see if he's got any quests for us. So we're going to do that. That's my character riding along right there in third person. And I can also kind of pick which weapons I want to use. Let's see if we can find the village leader. If I recall correctly, Warband lets you access the leader without actually having to go into the town. Going into the town is ultimately kind of pointless. This is a battle map, so if there ends up being a battle here, then it will take place in this village. And you can do things like raid the village if you so desire, which I'm not going to do for the time being. I'd like to at least not piss off everybody immediately. Just trying to find the village leader. That's just general villager. Village elder, yes, this is the fellow I need to talk to. There we go. Do you have any tasks? Okay, I can teach you how to defend yourself. Alright, fair enough. So, we're going to train up some of the villagers. And then we're going to fight the bandits. This is a nice little opportunity to show you a little bit of the basic combat system. So this is mostly a sandbox game. You start off with one person. You end up trying to build this gigantic army, get really good equipment, and you can do so via doing quests and all sorts of things like that. If you've played War of the Roses, you're probably fairly familiar with how the combat system works. It is a 4-directional system with directional blocking as well as directional attacking. So I am training him by beating him with a stick, as you can see right there, which seemed to work fairly effectively. There we go. And we're going to keep training the peasants until the bandits come along, and then we'll have a glorious battle. Glorious battle. But yeah, you don't really want to, as chat pointed out, raid a village by yourself, because yes, they might be farmers, but it's like 50 of them with pitchforks. And they'll throw rocks at you as well. They will kill you, and they will then take your stuff. So you probably don't want to be doing that. They'll take you prisoner. You can't technically die in this game. You just get taken prisoner. You get dragged around to some other area of the map, and they steal all your stuff, which is not really ideal. Keep training them, and eventually the bandits will actually attack. So that is something that you need to bear in mind. At the moment, thankfully, they're not doing that. Not the best looking game in the universe, is it? No. I mean, it's been improved, and like I said, I did mod it to make it look a little bit better, but it's certainly not a beautiful game by any stretch of the imagination. It's always looked a little bit ugly, but frankly, that's fine by me. It's very much an indie title, but it does excel in giving you the sort of medieval sandbox. Oh, hello. Those were some bandits. I thought maybe they might actually decide to attack. Also has a day and night cycle. Pretty reasonable skybox as well. I mean, this game is fairly old. It has been out for quite some time. The newer versions are certainly a little bit better in terms of the graphical fidelity. We have trained a bunch of them. I am very surprised that the bandits haven't attacked. Usually after a couple of training sessions, they will attack. There they are. Hello. All right. Nope. We're going to get one more training session before they attack. And then what we're going to try and do is actually beat the bandits in an open combat, which is going to consist of actually quite a number of characters on the screen. I believe that without modding anyway, you can actually mod the game to increase the number of people that can fight. But it is possible to... Hello. It's possible to have battles with 100 people on the screen at any given time. You can go even higher than that with mods, and it can get pretty insane, frankly. It's almost like being part of a medieval Total War battle, but it happens to actually be in third person, and you're actually playing a character in it. You can also order your army around through a series of basic key commands. There we go. Alright, cool. Here we go. So they are now going to attack. So let's try and fight and not die. So here's my trained peasant army and my recruits, and then we're going to be fighting against the bandits. Get out of the way! Bloody hell, I've got a horse. Get out of the way. Thank you very much. All right. Oh, they have horsemen. That's not good at all. Okay. Not too keen on that fact. And frankly, I don't really want to be using a crossbow. All right, well, I'll do my best. These guys look fairly tough. We should be able to swamp them, because that's the hope at any rate. I need to get my shield out as well, because they're not going to like me too much. Not at all. All right, you're not friendly. Fighting on horseback can be a little bit tricky. Takes a little bit of practice. There we go. That's one off. That's good. Looks like we're winning this quite handily, as it turns out. Most of the peasants are not dying. Everyone is being horribly swamped, which is nice. Alright, a couple of guys over here. See, the timing to actually get these swings is quite tricky, and I haven't played in a while, so I'm going to be even worse than usual. But if you can get a good swing off, like that, then you get a speed bonus as you charge, so you can do a huge amount of damage based on how fast you pass on horseback. So it is a very useful skill to learn. As you are much more effective on horse. Not only are you much, much harder to hit, you can move a lot faster, but you also gain a lot of bonus damage. That's why I like Lancers, and why I'll be trying to buy one as soon as possible, because the lance damage you can do while charging is incredible. Alright, cool. So we were successfully able to win the battle, which means we're going to be able to loot all their stuff. Allied casualty 7 peasants. Do we care about them? Of course not. But we did lose a Vega recruit, which is unfortunate. We should be able to hopefully recruit a few more people along there, which will be nice. There we go. So either I can take their stuff, or I can refuse, stating they need the items more than I do. I'm going to take their stuff. Look at all this stuff. Of course I'm going to take it. They're offering me loads of money. That's what we like to see. There we go. So I'm just going to grab all of this, and I can sell it in a nearby town. Awesome. And I'm going to recruit more volunteers, because they like me more now. So, sweet. That worked fairly well. We have a bunch of supplies. We have a bunch of money. We have a very small fighting force that is frankly rubbish, because these recruits have nothing more than pitchforks. But we're looking good. All right, let's go and visit a larger town here. We seem to be friendly with the Vega faction, so we shouldn't have to worry too much about that. This game has different factions, and of course, some of them will be more hostile to you than others. You can openly declare war, and so on and so forth. Let us visit Ravadine. All right, so There are, outside of the villages, there are also these larger cities, and there are also castles. Castles generally are focused on the military, and you can get some quests from there and things like that. You can attack them, but ultimately these towns are where the useful stuff is. You can stay overnight to regenerate health and things like that. It's also very safe here, so you're not going to get attacked as you would be if you were camping out in the open. You can go to the castle to speak to the Lord to get quests. You can go to the tavern to recruit people, and you can also meet up with interesting characters. You can go to the marketplace to buy and sell. You can even walk around the town if you so desire. Generally speaking, there's not a huge amount of point in doing that. And you can go to the arena, which will either offer you access to a tournament or an arena brawl, which can be used to gain a little bit of extra cash if you wish. For those just tuning in, by the way, wondering what's going on, this is Mount and Blade, the original version, which is currently available for free over at GOG.com, so I'd suggest that you head over there. GOG.com is, of course, the sponsor of Axiom Esports, which is my StarCraft 2 esports team, and that is why I'm here doing this stream right now. That, and I also like Mount and Blade. At least I like Mount and Blade until Mount and Blade kicks my ass, which it frequently does. Okay, to the marketplace. So we were talking about selling some stuff and hopefully buying a lance. So we're going to keep some of this. We're going to sell some of the ale, I think. We'll definitely sell the tools. We don't really need that. Now, this is the amount of money I've got. This is the amount of money the vendor has. So we'll sell the tools. Maybe keep a hold of the honey. That's good for party morale. You do need some of this food with you, by the way. So I'm going to get rid of some of this ale, get rid of some more of the tools. That's 560 dinars. We can... Well, this isn't really worth much, so I'm going to keep this just in general as food for our army. And 560 dinars is not too shabby. Let's trade with the arms merchant, see if we can get a lance. A balanced battle fork is not what I'm looking for. Balanced lance, there we go. That should do the trick. That is 750 dinar. I can not afford that. Is there a cheaper one? A balanced spear, not the same as a lance. They don't quite work the same way. A balanced staff. Each town... Ah, bent heavy lance. That would probably do the trick. Not a high-quality lance, but frankly, lancers when moving at high speed do huge amounts of damage while couched, so I will definitely grab a lance, I think. And frankly, I'm going to replace my ranged weapon, because I don't really like ranged weapons. I'm not really a big fan of that. Would also be nice to maybe get a larger axe. It's a rusty war axe. You can see things like the weapon's reach. That's a very important stat to have, because the way that Mount and Blade works is that you've got to make sure that the head of the weapon actually connects. So having a lot of reach is fairly important. It does make things a lot easier. The lance has a lot of reach, but you don't really want to be poking with it. It's ultimately not very useful. I do love the heavy Volge. That's a lot of fun as well. Might buy one of those, but I don't think I can quite afford it. So a rusty war axe would be quite nice. There we go. So we're going to pay 447 for that. And maybe I can afford a hat of some description. Always nice to get a little bit extra armor. These are not particularly expensive, so I get a sturdy nomad cap, 11 extra armor for a little more than 19 dinar, which is absolutely fantastic. So we're going to grab those. Gloves are inexplicably expensive in this game. I don't really know why they are, but they are, so there you go. All right. Sweet. So we're now much more attractive and respectable, as you can see. But we are hopefully also a little bit harder to kill. Alright, I'm going to head to the castle and see what the Lord has to say. Maybe there's a quest that we can get. We want to be looking specifically to try and build reputations with various factions. I'm TotalBiscuit at your service. I'm actually TotalBicuit, but there you go. You may be of common birth, but know that I am always looking for good men to fight for me. I am no man. Do you have any tasks for me? Okay, okay. So as a loan. He was supposed to pay it back within a month, but I haven't received a copper from him. You go and collect the debt from Lord Marmon. You get to keep some of the money. Where can I find Lord Marmon? If you leave now, you should be able to find him at Schlesk Castle. This sounds really dangerous. He probably has an army, so I need to go and maybe spend a little bit of time building up my own. So we are absolutely going to go and do that. And there's a dog in my room for some reason. I need to go and remove that dog. Be right back. Kumo! Why are you here? Who let you up? Come on. Come on. Out. There's two dogs. This is no good at all. Out. Come on. Downstairs. Well, that was a surprise. As much as I love the dogs, I prefer them not rifling through my stuff. Okay, let's get back to it. We might as well head into the arena, actually. Nope, the door's locked. I believe it's at nighttime, so of course it's not going to be open. We'd head to the town. I don't really have a lot of money to recruit people, but it's always worth talking to people. You can also get heroes, characters for your actual army, who you can give equipment to, and they're generally a lot more powerful than the regular troops, and you can train them up and they level up with you as well. Ah, an engineer. Okay. Certainly sounds good. Where do you need to go? That seems reasonable. Yeah. A signing bonus of 300. I can't afford that. No, I have no money right now. In fact, it looks like there's quite a few people who are looking to be recruited. I'd love some mercenary crossbowmen, but I can't afford them. No way. Perhaps there may be some other people that do not require a signing bonus. There we go. Cool. I have a little archer dude that's going to help me. A lot of words. Lots and lots of words. 400 dinars. Can't afford that. Nope. Never mind. You can also talk to people like travelers as well, which are going to give you information about different quests. And also, if you end up losing some of your hero characters, they end up getting kidnapped or imprisoned or whatever, then travelers can often tell you where they wandered off to, so you can go and rescue them. Also gives you a little bit of useful tutorial information here and there. Alright. Okay. Let's go and